ما أريد من هذا الشعب إلا أن يزيد في الحمد والشكر إلى الله عز وجل، ويزيد من محبة الوطن، ويزيد من العمل ومضاعفة العمل لما يسعى فيه من خير له وللدولة والأهل. هذا اللي أنا أدوره من الشعب، وربنا إن شاء الله يوفقنا جميعا على ما يحب ويرضى.
Having more than 30 years of experience, in today's episode, we will learn from Mr. Fadi how to achieve our goals. Please watch our interview for today with Mr. Fadi, the chairman of Mepco.
For the rulers of Dubai and for rulers of UAE in general, what I would like to say is a big thank you.
Hello everyone, and welcome again to another episode of your favorite program, Purse of Union. Every success story starts with some moments and some people. In today's story, we have a very special guest with us, Mr. Fadi. He's the chairman of Mepco Gulf. We welcome you, Mr. Fadi.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Fadi. Before we start our main conversation, first, we would like to know about you, Mr. Fadi, as a person, experience, education, and your background, the things which shaped who you are today.
My name is Fadi Baaklini. I am originally Lebanese and I'm also Canadian. As every Lebanese throughout the civil war, which I lived in Lebanon, we always aspired to find better pastures outside of our country. Therefore, I immigrated outside Lebanon in 1988. I went to Cyprus, and from Cyprus I started working before I had my immigration papers to go to Canada. I was forced at that time to work practically in anything I could find just to be able to survive. Because of the situation in Lebanon, my parents could not sustain me. And I remember I used to always keep a diary. And on my diary, I wrote I think it was on the 2nd of February, 1989, I wrote all my movable and immovable assets were equal to £1. So I had exactly £1 in my. So just telling you this story, just to tell you that the humble beginnings, even though I came from a middle class family, but because of the war and because of the circumstances, I had to survive in Cyprus. To move along from Cyprus in 1989 or 90 actually, I managed to immigrate to Canada. I became a Canadian citizen in 1993, and then I came back to Cyprus, where I started my career as a sales person, sales manager in a company that sells timber. So my early career start was in a timber company called Brass Timber. I stayed with them for a couple of years. Then the owner asked me to start a paper division in that company, which I did for him. That was for a couple of years. Then I was recruited by a paper company called Interpaper in Paphos, always in Cyprus. That was in 1994. I stayed there for 1 year. And in 1995, for personal reasons, obviously, because I had ambitions, I met up with a partner of mine, where we became partners. We decided to start at the time Mepco. It was in Cyprus, in Paphos. And we started with 5 people. That was my partner, myself, my wife and his wife, and 1 secretary. So that was the start. And the rest is history. I think we stayed in Cyprus from 96 when we started the business till 98. And 98, we decided that Dubai is the center. And even at that time, I felt that it was actually late. I thought we were late to come to Dubai, even in 98, imagine. So I convinced my partner that we should have a local presence in Dubai as a regional office. And that's what we did. So 1998, we left Cyprus as a branch. And we came to Dubai and opened our Dubai office in 1998. Basically, I continued in the paper business, and we developed it to what it is today. I mean, there's a lot. I don't know if you want details more, but there's a lot to talk about.
Speak about the details for sure.
Sure.
So before we get into the details, we would like to know who supported you in this journey.
Quite frankly, no one. So as I mentioned, we started from scratch. We started from zero. There's definitely a big support. I have to say, I have to mention my wife, because at the time I got married in 1994. I got my first child in 1995, and 1996 I got my second child, and I started my own company. So my wife has been instrumental in my journey. She's been a great support. When we first got married, we decided, I said, either I stay home or you stay home for the children. And so I could say the biggest support in my journey was my wife. I always tell her that whatever we have achieved in my life, 50% was hers, and 50% is what we've achieved. So I consider it as a combined effort together.
That's great, Mr. Fadi. We would like to know also, having more than 30 years of experience, what is the achievements you have achieved in this journey?
The first thing I could say is that throughout my career, I never worked for money. And I think if you have quite a good direction and an ethical way of approaching your business, money will follow. So I think my biggest achievement is that I never worked for money, and decisions I've taken throughout my career, and there was a lot of them. And I think that in life, there are turning points, and these decisions that you take would either take you to greater success or failure. So my biggest achievements were number one, my family. And I think you need to have a balance between your, I'm not sure if I made a big balance, because when I first started, I was traveling 7 to 8 months a year. So practically I was completely out of the house. Again, that comes the role of my wife, where she was really a great support. Other achievements were the fact that I had managed in 2006 to amicably buy my partner's share. So I had a partner, as I mentioned, when we first started. We stayed 10 years, so from 96 to 2006 we were together. In 2006, we decided in a very amicable way that we part ways, and I bought his share. So that was quite an achievement. I changed the modus operandi of the company from that time. We were working on a commission-based structure. So we were traders of paper in the whole region. We were covering at that time 18 countries. And from 2006 onwards, I changed completely the modus operandi of the company and the structure, whereas we became real traders. What I mean by that is we started buying our own cargo from our manufacturing mills all over the world, and then selling it on to our customers in the region. I expanded the business, so we opened up in India in 2007. We opened in Tunisia as well for the North African area. India was for the Indian subcontinent, so India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, all these markets. And I would say, again, the achievement is that I'm very proud of the team around me. And I think this is also a big support, by the way. I mentioned my wife, but of course, I would have never reached where I am if it wasn't for the team around us. And what I'm really proud of is that most of our team members, they have been with us for 10, 15, 20 years. Even we have a person who's been here for 25 years. So this is, for me, is an achievement, because these are the people who are coming with us on the journey. I consider myself today as someone who is supporting everyone. So I feel I've taken the back seat, and my mission is to keep everyone happy.
Of course, Mr. Fadi, we would like to know also how Mepco was established.
So Mepco started, as I mentioned, in Cyprus as a paper trading company, or indentor at the time. What we mean by indentor is a commission agent. So we have exclusive arrangements with certain mills in Europe or in Asia or in Latin America, and we sell for them in the Middle East, GCC, and the Levant countries, and we take a commission when we sell. So it's a direct. That's how it started. So it was established in Cyprus. At that time, also we established a sister company called Nozidla Middle East. Nozidla Middle East was something we invented with a partner mill in Austria, in Vienna, and we decided that we will run their regional office under their own name. The mill was called Nozidla in Austria. So we established in Cyprus Nozidla Middle East along with Mepco. The difference was that Nozidla had specific grades of paper. We call them office communication papers, which means photocopy paper, offset. And Mepco was doing all the other grades. So for the customers in the Gulf, we were a one-stop shop. So I go to the client, I can offer him office communication papers as well as packaging, as well as pulp or boards or any type of other products that they need.
Mr. Fadi, I'm sure working in paper and packaging services, there is a lot of challenges. What is the main challenge you face, and how Mepco is keeping up with these challenges?
Amazing question, actually. It's a good question. If it is easy, everybody will do it. So of course, every sector has its own challenges, and we now no exception. Most of the challenges we find, and it's a bit funny sometimes, is that we find problems in sourcing and finding partner mills more than we have problem in finding the clients. As you would know, in the Middle East, most of I would talk GCC and even mostly I would say the Arab background, we deal with a person more than the company. So the biggest challenge is how to establish that trust relation with the clients. And alhamdulillah, I could say that we have managed to do that throughout all the years. We are competing with sometimes competitors who are 10 times our size, but still we have a great market share in our markets where we cover. So as far as the clients are concerned, I think we have managed to have a very loyal, steady clientele. The biggest threat is how to find the sources. Based our industry, we have the paper, which is for mostly printing, if I'm simplifying it, the packaging, and the pulp. The pulp, which is the raw material that you use to produce paper. We are active in all the three elements, all three sectors. The problem with the printing, as you perhaps know, with the onset of the internet, and people are no longer printing as much as they used to. Of course, advertising also has moved from a print media to a digital media. So that also has affected so we see for sure a huge challenge in that market declining year on year. We saw it in Europe, no exception in the Middle East. For instance, I can give you an example. In India, for instance, it's the largest newsprint buyer. They have newspapers. Yeah. Newspapers in the Middle East or the Gulf practically are non-existing now. India is the only country where still imports newsprint, but as a general, a trend, the newsprint consumption has gone down almost by 70%. So why we're losing on one side, on the other side, I always say that an iPad, you need to put it in a carton to send it. So what we did already 7-8 years back, we shifted our strategy to go more into packaging. So since we were active in packaging, we put more capital, more investment in terms of partner mills, salesmen, to go into more on the packaging side. So along the years, you take, the only important element in any business is to be able to have the vision and foresee the problems before the actual advantages. So that's one thing that helped us, as I mentioned. Other challenges we face is sometimes credit. So most of our competitors, they are based in Europe. And what they do, they use credit insurance companies. People like Hermes, Antalis, Cofas, these are credit insurance. So what they do, they come to our area, which is, again, Middle East, North Africa, Indian subcontinent, and they offer open account 180 days. And that's something we don't like. So what we've done, we have selected few clients and we do our own internal credit insurance. So within our structure, we have a credit committee, a credit risk committee, and we try to select customers, but only selectively. The majority of our business is not on open account. So that's another challenge that is represented in our industry, because we're in a commodity as well. Yeah. And in the commodity, again, I have to point one thing very important is that your margins are not like electronics or any other sectors. So we have very low margins, but we have high volume. So it's a very capital intensive. And one thing maybe it's not a challenge where I'm proud of as a company and as a strategy and a policy. Since 2009, that's 3 years after I bought my partner in 2006, we changed the company to 100% self-financed. So what we do today in all the markets we cover around 46 countries, we work purely 100% with our own finances. We have zero recourse to banks. We don't work with any bank. The banks don't like us, but I decided I wanted this strategy because it gives me more flexibility and more leverage in my decision making.
Mr. Fadi, also if you can mention one of the main projects you have worked on.
What I'm particularly proud of is the fact that Harvard Business School had decided that my story would be used as a case study to show young budding entrepreneurs that you can start a business in the sector of commodities and still be able to make it in a very competitive environment.
What is the most important skill should any manager have?
I would say honestly, our motto is never promise what you cannot deliver. And again, that's what distinguishes us from maybe a lot of people think the sale is that you have to be very shrewd, very creative with the truth, or the Arab Bazaar, what we call. Yeah. I mean, the Arab Bazaar sometimes you have to do, depending on the client that you deal with. But I think honesty is the shortest way. And if you're clear, you're transparent with your clients. And it's something we hear from our clients, quite frankly. We hear that Mepco is somebody you can rely on. And that alone for me it's a big achievement. Yeah. That says that, once you deliver what you promise, I think client doesn't need more than that. And of course, fair price at the fair quality as well. So we try to protect clients. We have a system also in terms of service. So every order that we deliver, we do a survey, which is an independent survey, where we call the clients, we ask them about how is the delivery, the pricing, the quality, etc., etc. So we try to really distinguish ourselves from the rest of the crowd.
I was coming actually to the same question. How you make sure that the client is happy with the service?
As I mentioned, so the survey is one element. We do regular visits with the salesman. So the way we structured is we have territories and salespeople, sales area managers we call them. They are assisted with an MC, which is market coordinator. Now, the sales area manager, we have a 6-month travel plan, and they travel to their territory at least 3 to 4 times every 6 months, within the 6 months. So 8 times during the year. Now, what we do is sometimes a senior will accompany the sales manager and go just once a year or twice a year, just to hear also the feedback from the clients. How did it go? Is there any complaints? So at least an unbiased opinion from someone who's not involved in the daily business. That's one part of how we ensure that the client is happy with the quality and the service.
Of course, Mr. Fadi, having more than 30 years of experience, what is your advice for the younger generation who would like to build their career in packaging sector services?
For the new generation, I say, number one, not everything is AI, not everything is a startup. I know that everybody of you, the young generation, is looking at a quick fix. The startups that we hear that they made tenfold, 20, 200, 300 times, these exist are 1 in 10 million. What I would greatly appreciate is that you focus also on the commodities. We are in the commodities. People will always need commodities. And I would say, do it with persistence, do it with passion, and do it with love.
Before we end our program for today, would you like to give a thank you message for the UAE government?
For the rulers of Dubai and for rulers of UAE in general, what I would like to say is a big thank you. A big thank you for giving us not a second home, but a first home. That's why I consider today the Emirates for me is my first home. And I say it to everyone, I have never, from the day one I set foot in this country, I have never seen but care, guidance, and impeccable professionalism in everything you do. Of course, not everything is perfect, but for me, UAE is practically closer to perfection. Once again, thank you for the protection you give, and thank you for the platform that you're giving us for us to be able to succeed and to make it with our children and grandchildren, inshallah, in this country.
And with this, we come to the end of our program for today. We had a great conversation with Mr. Fadi, the chairman of Mepco. Thank you, Mr. Fadi.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.